Welcome back. Market Mindset Podcast time. Matt Lairden, I'm your host. Thanks for joining us. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a podcast. Without the amazing guests that I get to interact with, we wouldn't have a podcast either. I'm just sort of a conduit between these amazing individuals out there and you, the real estate audience. Today, we had Melissa Rubin on. She's a luxury real estate broker advisor in Miami, Florida, Southwest Florida. Just a kind, gentle, amazing spirit, like a lot of us. She transitioned into real estate from a career completely opposite. She was in the fashion business and dove right into real estate. A great story about her first transaction almost got her in some trouble. She didn't quite know the rules in codes as far as being a real estate professional, but that certainly didn't stop her. We talked some of the charities that she's involved in. She has a servant heart, good citizenry, work-life balance. She definitely embodies that. We talked about a couple of her vacations that she's got coming up. And then off camera, I wish I would have kept it going, but we talked recipes, and she has two amazing recipes, one for Brussels sprouts and one for bourbon potatoes that I'm definitely going to try. I was taking notes copiously when that was taking place. But today, fun time, great time talking to Melissa Rubin with Compass Realty in Miami, Florida. Hey, it's Matt Lairden back with the Market Mindset Podcast. Wow. Finally put this together with Melissa Rubin with Compass Realty down in South Florida, Miami. Luxury real estate professional with a global impact. 2022, 2023, America's best top 1.5% in real estate broker in South Florida with a global clientele of Fortune 500 executives, entertainment, celebrities, medical professionals, diplomats, global investors. Just quite a presence you've established for yourself down there, but I'm not finished. Hold on, Melissa. I think this is probably, knowing you, community leader, philanthropist, and really the embodiment of good citizenry. And we'll definitely jump into how actively you are involved in philanthropy and giving back. I think really, like I said, you embody to whom much is given, much is required. And the law of circulation about how actively you are involved. But Melissa, like I told you before we started recording, I could spend a half hour just doing the intro and you wouldn't have time to say hi, but welcome, Melissa. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you? And thank you for having me. So appreciate it.
Well, thank you for joining us. I know you're busy down there. Talk to me about South Florida real estate, Miami in particular. What are we seeing?
We're seeing a lot of growth, a lot of new construction in condominiums. And what I like mostly is this last several cycles, it's really been about high-end luxury. And now we're seeing some new properties that are not high-end luxury. So it allows more people to get involved in the new construction process.
Right. You got to share with the listeners and people that are watching out there. How'd you get involved? How'd you position yourself? How'd you evolve into this luxury presence? I mean, with a global reach.
I was in the fashion business before real estate, and I've traveled and worked across the globe. And when I came to Miami, I came here to do a startup for Watch Station. And in 2.5 years, we opened 1,000 stores. We traveled around the world opening those stores, and we were sold. So I stayed here, and a friend said, "Okay, let's go to real estate school and see what it's like." I never truly thought I would ever be a broker. And I just loved it. I loved it. And so I just started with no experience. And what's very humbling, which I don't know if in your career you've started over, but I was fairly substantial in my past career. And in real estate, nobody knew me. So it was very humbling to start over, not even knowing how to write a contract. And because of actually my giving back in the community and philanthropy, people trusted me. So I had clients almost immediately. And because of the marketing background I had and working for large concepts, every client is like a mini key item where we really find what's most important to them, whatever that may be, with real estate or without real estate. And we try to make sure that we give them that experience.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, but you made a great point. You had to start over. I mean, in something almost polar opposite of fashion. I guess you have some competitive advantages with a great eye for fashion, and that probably helps in identifying key selling points of properties. But you transitioned, and how was it? Tell me about your first transaction, if we can reach back, 1 or 2 years.
You're being very kind. Actually, my very first transaction, it was with the president of a board, and we were looking in a specific neighborhood, and there was a house that was for sale. So I called the broker, and he wasn't there. So I just knocked on the door. I had zero clue. I knock on the door. I meet the client. We walk in, and we're like, "This is our house. It's going to be great. We'll start negotiating." So I called the broker, and then he answered, and I felt like a proud peacock, and I told him what he did. And he said, "Okay, no problem. I'm going to call the board, and you are going to get your license suspended because you are not allowed to contact another person's client."
Oh
But
my gosh.
that was my first transaction.
Just, ju- well, A, it speaks to your confidence, but also, I mean, yeah, I thought when you knocked on the door, you said you knocked on the listing broker's door.
No
No.
house.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So compliance, your first transaction was a potential compliance issue.
It was, and I was surrounded by good people who explained to him that I was a newly licensed broker. So, but nonetheless, I always remember it, and of course, I follow every law that we're supposed to
Well, of
follow.
course you do. And that's obviously a testament to your moral character, your professionalism, and why you have such a great reach. Really the go-to agent in South Florida, Miami. Um, your clientele. I mean, let's get back down to some basics here. Um, what's your listing to buy side representation ratio right now? How many listings versus how many buyer reps are you doing?
It's about 50-50 in terms of actually the number of transactions, and I love both. And with buyers, there's very different. There's the buyer that's the end user looking for themselves. There's the buyer that is the investment person, and so it's all about the numbers. And the sellers, my marketing background really makes a difference in how we market and to whom we market. So I definitely excel at both and truly love both.
That's great. And that's a great balance, on the listing side, but also doing buy side representation. I imagine you get a lot of repeat and a lot of referral business. How's that been for you?
I'm very fortunate. I think again, giving back has really made a difference, and it's every relationship is really about finding out what's most important to them. But I started a referral group 2.5 years ago within Compass with agents like myself across the country because our clients have 2 and 3 and 4 homes to be able to refer them people in Aspen or in France or wherever it may be. I'm able to refer them somebody that's just like me, and that adds value to our relationship. And I know that they're well taken care of. So in terms of my business is about 99% referral.
Wow. Now, do you lead a team as well, or are you out there solo?
I lead a team. I have 5 agents in Miami, and we work all through the Miami area. And then I also lead the national advisory, which are 65 of us of Compass agents across the country.
Wow. Well, so someone new getting into the business and in Miami, but just what's a path you would suggest? I mean, let's say they're coming from the fashion industry like you did, and it's a pivot in a career. Obviously, strong communication skills are critical in any field, but what are some of the characteristics that you're seeing? What do you look for in when you're bringing someone on your team?
I look to make sure that they too have a business. Firstly, really a business that is referral based. There are some models which are lead generation based, but that's not mine. I feel like that I've never paid for leads, so that's really important. And that they have very good communication, follow up skills, that they have extracurricular activities outside of real estate because that's where you meet people and that's where you enjoy your life, and that's really important. We need to have life balance, whatever that may look like. So I try to look for that. And people, I'm a big dog lover, so if they have a dog,
Okay.
that's of course like a benefit because I do a big dog event where we every year it's a spa event, and we donate to a dog charity around South Florida. And so I look for commonalities also because we want to make sure that we have the same value and values, and that's really important, and work ethic.
Yeah. So if I'm hearing you correctly, work ethic, congruent values. Um, I mean, I heard you say it. Work-life balance. Work-life balance so important. And I mean, I play pickleball. Crazy as it may sound, but the networking opportunities that come through something I'm really passionate about, and I never go out there wave the flag saying, "Hey, I'm in real estate." People usually ask you, and I'm involved with Pickle for Pups in Long Beach. It's a charity.
Oh, what is
Yeah,
that?
yeah, we're hosting our first pickleball tournament, benefits the Long Beach Animal Care Services Center, and and we got the space donated for free. So I mean, it's one of those situations where it will probably, I mean, 99% of the funds raised will go directly to the charity. My point is, you get involved with the activities that you enjoy,
Yes.
and the business comes to you. But circling back to Miami real estate, where are most of your clients coming from? I mean, you've got a global reach, but I'll go ahead and let you answer.
They are coming from New York. They are coming from Europe and from Canada. Since I originally grew up in Montreal, I have a number of clients that are from Montreal and Toronto. But that's primarily, and then on my team, several grew up in Colombia, so we have Colombian clients, Italian clients. The goal is, I think, in any you had asked before about when you start, what do you really do? And really, you reach back to your network, whatever that might look like. It might be your college network, your parents' network, your family, and from there, when people want to help people that they like. And you can certainly cultivate new relationships from your family and your relationships that you have before having to go out for cold leads. But I think it's much more productive to work with people that you like and they like you already.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, people do business with people they trust and people they like. And what a better way to build up trust and rapport is through an avenue or venue or outside of the real estate field. And that's when you get,
Yes.
and for you, I mean, I'm sort of jumping ahead a little bit of assumption, but I'm sure you're sort of particular about the clients you take on as well.
We have to like each other and respect each other. Whatever, yes, most definitely. I feel very fortunate that I have worked with amazing people, just beautiful human beings that are philanthropic, that are giving, that are just down to earth in spite of how successful they are in their own rights.
Yeah, yeah. We when we started off and we started talking today on the podcast, talk to me about the new build that's going on. My familiarity, I'll say that again, is I had a close friend. She lived in Brickell Key, Brickell.
Yep, Brickell
Pronounce
Key.
that.
Brickell Key.
Okay, Brickell Key, and it just beautiful, spacious, beautiful. Condos, apartments. I mean, I just loved it. Fell in love with it. I love that type of living. What are some of the new developments out there that are promising that you like, in particular in the South Miami area?
Love. So I'm crazy. Actually, on Brickell Key, the Mandarin Oriental is going to be making a condominium. Beautiful quality, just spectacular. And just down the street, a little bit further south, is the St. Regis. Also very small density, so I really like that. Most recently, Jean Georges just announced here in Midtown, and we've gone through the car phase and the brand phase, and now to have like the chef phase, I think is really cool. So I'm really bullish about that property. And Alan Faina, who has created districts in Buenos Aires and in now Miami Beach, is now going to be creating a new district in the Miami River. And everything he does is spectacular. So I'm very excited for that. And most recently, the Standard, which is a brand here. It's a hotel on Miami Beach. They're building one in Midtown, and they just announced one in Brickell. And prices begin in the 500s, so much more reasonable than some of the other projects, and more people can get involved.
I love that affordability, and yet all the benefits of living in just what an amazing city town area. I mean, as I recall, Miami's just a melting pot of individuals from all over. Tell me about your community and the culture and how it's changed or stayed the same or evolved since you've been there.
I've been here since 1997. So at that time, really, Miami Beach was the only place to live. And now we have, just like we have Midtown and the Upper East Side, and we have the
Oh,
financial district, and really mimicking New York names, but so many options and so much more culture than there was when I was here in 97. And the restaurant community is phenomenal. Every major chef wants to have a foothold here. And so whether you are going out on Miami Beach or in Wynwood, which is our like art community, or the design district, which is like our Madison Avenue, they're just great restaurants. And it's so fun to like pick and choose, again, in all price ranges, but it's just so fun.
yeah. Yeah, the entertainment that big South American influence. But I'm hearing New York. I'm hearing European influences there, and just a melting pot of cultures, food. I mean, I like food. I don't qualify myself quite a foodie, but what are some of your go-tos down there in your neck of the woods as far as food are concerned?
Oh my gosh, there's so many, but I would say staples that I go to a lot. I go to Michael's Genuine in the Design District. Michael Schwartz has restaurants across South Florida and in the Caymans, and he's just a great chef. So I go there. I like little sushi spots that are not fancy. I really like smaller, more restaurants, more so than the larger with the velvet ropes. And I just think it's more interesting to support the neighborhood smaller restaurants.
Yeah,
So,
they're the you can find some little holes in the wall. Some of the
uh,
little hole in the walls have some of the best food.
the best food. There's a gas station as you go to Coconut Grove. And
Okay.
so it's like, no, literally, it's a gas station. So you get gas, you park, and when you go in, it's a Spanish tapas restaurant, and they sell bottles of wine much less expensive than most wine stores, and it's phenomenal. And you never know. So when people come out of town, I'm like, oh, we're going to supper at the gas station, and they're like, oh my God, but it's really cool.
Right, right. Going back to your real estate business, what can tell me, you I know make it seem easy, but I know there's some challenges. Talk to me about one of the challenging listings that you had, or maybe a buyer. What do you do? What'd you do? How'd you to complete the transaction? What'd you do to make it happen?
Some of the most challenging transactions that I have are people that are decoupling. I find that, you're in a tense situation. They've decided that they're going to split up, but they have to sell the property, and they don't often talk. Might not often talk to each other. Some do, but some don't. And being able to have both parties communicate for the better of their financial wealth is really important. So I find those have been the hardest to not, and hard, it sounds judgmental. I would say there's just more stuff in it that needs to get done. That's all. And
Yeah.
I got, since I had a contested divorce, I thought if I can make a difference in somebody else's life and have them not have as many emotions, because it can be emotional, that it would be good. So I got certified in collaborative divorce and real estate to be able to, and mediation, to be able to communicate effectively with both parties so that we can get through to the other side.
Yeah, I mean, wow, and that's a dynamo. I mean, you look at the top five stressors in life, and changing career, divorce, buying or selling a property. I mean, things along that, and to have those married together in a real estate transaction has got to be is got I would think such a challenge. But to navigate those waters, and then your life experience, being in a similar situation contested, you you're aware of those the frailty of the relationship and the challenge and the I'd say the emotion of
Yeah.
that relationship's got to be tough. But kudos to you. But okay, if I were to look at your business card, if I was a printer, all right, I would it would the front side of your business card would be, I mean, credentials. Tell me the different areas that you're certified in. I mean, you must have 122 different letters with all your certifications, which does make you an incredible agent. Some of your specialty sectors, credentials, uh, certifications that really benefit your business.
I got certified in oh my gosh, in short sales in 2008, when the time when people were having trouble paying their mortgage and the market was really bad. That was probably the most one of the most gratifying experience to help people get through this time in their lives. So I'm certified in that. I'm certified in divorce. I'm certified in luxury properties. Oh my gosh. I'm getting certified in working with seniors. So I'm starting that in the next couple of months.
Wow. Yeah. I think, and I said this once before, but Abraham Lincoln, I think it was, it said, give me 6 hours to cut down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 hours sharpening the knife and or sharpening the axe. And to me, that means constantly evolving, constantly preparing yourself. It sounds like you're constantly challenging yourself in educational areas to make yourself a better, more well-rounded agent. If a new agent were to go out and get one credential or what, starting out, and I don't know if it's specific to Miami or nationwide, what's one designation that you'd recommend a new agent to get?
I think it really depends on where they're living. I also got certified in international. So if they're living in a city that does have an international, I think that's a really wonderful designation because they can then have this whole market outside of their city.
Oh, okay.
And depending if what type I would say they need to think about what type of practice that they're looking for. The luxury designate was really good, I thought. And I think the best advice, if I could look back on myself in 2002 when I started, the most important advice I would say is to be consistent, to communicate effectively, and to focus on your current relationships. I think oftentimes we have the shiny penny syndrome where something may look better outside and we'll keep trying that and we'll keep trying that until we think like the think rich theory, if you know. And that's really not like that. Real estate is about working hard, setting your boundaries and making sure that you are consistent in your outreach and in your relationships and in creating a business plan and treat it like a business, not like, oh, today, what am I going to do with myself? But really plan accordingly. Have a business plan for work and have a plan for personal also to make sure that you are growing and evolving.
Yeah. Circling back to your work-life balance, you have quite a following out there on social media. How did that start?
I have an incredible company that I work with that really understands my voice. And what I always think about is how am I going to spend 80% of my time during the day? And it needs to be on income producing activities. That could be relationship building, that could be sending note cards, but it's all about building the relationships. I am far from a social media expert. And when the time comes that you can afford it, hire the people to surround you of the things that A, you don't do well, nor do you want to do it, that are not income producing activities.
Look, yeah, in revenue generating activities, income producing activities, and I heard you, I was talking to an individual the other day, 80-20 rule, and I hear it, loud and clear from you. 80% of your time is focused on revenue generating,
Yes.
income generating activities. And often, too often, I mean, I know we get sort of caught up, and I had someone on the other day, but we get caught up watching all these glamorous, reality Bravo, selling Miami, selling New York, selling LA, and it looks really good. Oh, I just took a $25 million listing, closed it in 3 days. No, there's a lot more that goes into it. If I'm hearing you correctly, consistency, social media, working spheres of influence, and everyone has a niche. Obviously, getting credentialed and certificated like you are, you're constantly evolving as a real estate professional, and that's just a credit to your business and the success you're having. Going back, going back to we sort of connected through charity and giving back, and to much is given, much is required. I was checking a couple notes there, and tell me about Mount Sinai. You still involved with them?
Much so, and it's a fundraising board, but we're doing incredible things in the medical field. And so really now it's all about raising money for the hospital. And I've raised about $14 million over the last 5 or 6 years through people that just want to give back. They had a wonderful experience at Mount Sinai Medical Center, so they're now willing to give back. So that is amazing. I've had the opportunity to work with some of the doctors that have relocated to Miami, and that's really been very rewarding. And it's great. So I love mountains. I think working with children and working with hospitals are really important because it's the future.
Yeah, it is. I agree. We're real big on supporting CHOC, Children's Hospital of Orange County out here.
Oh,
Yeah, and so I'm balanced as far as my charitable efforts are concerned and giving back and philanthropic. Um, when you're not involved in your charities, which it's, I mean, I don't know how much time, I mean, when do you sleep, first of all, and you're not working with these incredible clients, what are you doing for fun? Are you traveling anywhere in particular? What are you doing?
yeah. I'm actually in part of my 2025 plan. It's I have four meaningful trips. So I'm going to France for Christmas and New Year's this year.
Okay.
And every year I go to Canyon Ranch in Tucson, and that's sort of like a wellness retreat to focus on mind, body, spirit. And I go with a great group of women and men who are so accomplished, but all have the same mindset. So there's 70 of us that go. So it's a big group, but that's the fun of it is that we get to see each other. And in April, I'm doing something really cool. I am going to Marbella for a wedding where the wedding is the bride is Jewish and the groom is Indian. So it's all these incredible like ceremonies, and I have to wear a sari, and I'm trying like it's just going to be so fun. And then in June, I'm doing something meaningful, but I'm not sure yet what with my friend who's turning 65. But we have to be purposeful and plan ahead so we make sure we get whatever it is done in our days.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Uh, okay, not your first trip to France, I'm assuming.
No,
Okay, but you're Montreal originally?
yes, I'm English
Okay,
Canadian. I'm not Quebecois.
okay. So talk to me about the difference, the dialect of French Canadian versus, Paris, France.
Parisian French. Yes, it's
Yeah.
different. We were taught because English is my first language, we were actually taught by Parisian teachers. So the French is a little different. They say that the Quebec French is the first French. It's
Oh,
historical French. But it's a different type of, it's not a dialect, but their words and the accent are a bit different than how we were taught to speak French.
well, okay. All right. I speak fluent Spanish, but I'll tell you, Spanish in northern, Mexico, California, Mexico border, as I go deeper down into South America, it becomes a little more difficult. They roll their R's a little bit.
Yes.
In Argentina, it's there. Spain, guy, I couldn't I had a tough time communicating in Spain. So I did have to answer that or ask you that about the French aspect of it. Um, we're going to wrap this up here. I really appreciate you taking the time. If you're a global investor or a global real estate professional, someone relocating to the beautiful, city of Miami and an amazing state in Florida, how do we get a hold of you?
Oh, it's amazing. So they can call me directly at 305-984-7706, or my email is Melissa J for Jane at compass.com. And our website will put you in touch, and our office will put you in touch, and whatever I can do to make a difference in someone's life, it would be my pleasure.
Wow, Melissa. Melissa, I know you're so busy. I mean, you've got a day full. I love how you've planned everything out. I'm sure you're a time blocker, but thanks for blocking out some time to be with us today, sharing your insight, the market there in Miami, the culture, how you got started, how you pivoted out of one career to another. And really, it starts with a servant heart and attitude. And I'm just extremely grateful for you to spend some time with us. I really, really appreciate it. I know about the Mandarin Oriental. I've been there. Great location. As I recall, very dark red inside. Is that still how it is?
It's darker, but that's going to come down actually and be
Okay.
replaced by a new hotel and a new condominium.
The whole facility.
Yes, it's coming down.
Oh, wow. Well, I'll have to talk to my friend in Miami. I didn't know about that.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Come
it's
visit.
yes, I love transaction. I love change. Keeps everything vibrant and young. Melissa, thank you again for taking the time. I look forward to circling back with you in a couple months, see how your retreats go. I'd love to hear about the Jewish Indian marriage. I think that's going to be
Oh my gosh.
amazing.
I'm excited for the close.
Oh, I know, I know, I know. I had a friend in a similar situation. That's just so much fun. And when I'm in Miami, I will definitely look you up. Love to take
Please.
you. I want to go to that gas station place on the way to Coconut
Okay,
Grove.
it is my pleasure. You let me know when you're coming, and I will take you.
Melissa, thank you so much. You have a great rest of your day. Great Thanksgiving. Just a real blessing for you to be on the podcast today.
Thank you for making the time. Have
Thank,
an amazing day.
thank you. You too. Bye bye.